And in the Communist Manifesto, it says the ruling ideas in any society are the ideas of the ruling class. And actually, over there it says blame the Etonians. And when you go to Eton, they say, what are we trying to turn out? We're trying to turn out leaders. That's what they're trying to say. And the reason why, one of the other things they learn is classics. And in classics, there's a man called Emperor Tiberius. And he coined the phrase, divide and rule. If you want to divide over a majority of people, in order to do that, you have to divide them. And actually, that's how capitalism, in a lot of ways, it works. It puts forward the ideas, instead of blaming your neighbour, don't blame your neighbour because your neighbour's easier to get to than blame the people at the top of society. Oscar Wilde once said, if you're busy looking in the gutter at the shit going by, you never look up at the stars, right? And actually, the way that our society organises is to make sure that we're in that situation. And when it begins to break down is when there's a struggle, when people don't accept it. Even the bedroom tax. They say it's all right for us to have 12 rooms and it's all right for you to have none. And people say we're not accepting it. It does break down when people struggle. And it does matter who leads you, actually. One of the problems, the truth is, I work with a lot of people from the Labour Party. My dad's still in the Labour Party. And I stand with him against the Tories. When a Tory comes up, usually they accept, duff your cap, listen to what's said. So stand with them against that. But I don't accept the idea of triangulation, and I don't accept the idea that we should pay the price for the boss's crisis. When they talk about crime, people heard of Bernie Ecclestone. Bernie Ecclestone operated a massive fraud, right? It was a multi-billion-pound fraud. And then he turned around, he should have gone to prison for it. If you and I signed on for so many months and fraud, whatever it is, they'd bang us up without even thinking about it. You know what he said? I'll pay you off. I'll give you £10 million. Under section 167 of the penal code in Germany, it was written off. He met a judge and they wrote it off. I'd love to do that. Here's a tenner, mate. I've done that. Off you. Thank you very much. I'm very sorry. Off I go. Because the truth of it is, when it talks about crime, it's about defending those people in those positions. It's most about crime, it's about property, and it's about maintaining the status quo. The truth of it is, they lied about the war. Do you remember? It was their weapons of mass destruction. They invaded the country and ruined it. Did they find any weapons of mass destruction? Yeah, the peace envoy is Tony Blair. I'm a peace envoy. And it's like the devil turning up, saying, I'm your friend. Yes, and he's still on TV and doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. It's you. You're the murderer. Right? You did it. And actually, the madness of the society, do you know at the moment they're arming the Kurds? You know that? But if you look inside the FBI, right now, and the CIA, the Kurdish organisation is a terrorist organisation, right? So if you turn around and say, I support the Kurds, technically, you're supporting terrorism. But today, it doesn't suit imperialism to support terrorism, so they say, these are our friends, yeah? We should arm them. We've dropped an arms cache to them. Now imagine you turn around and say, well, there's people fighting in Syria against Assad, and I've dropped an arms cache to them. Terrorists! There's people going off. The madness of our society, why are they trying to do that? They're trying to do that to defend oil and power. But also, meantime, while they're doing that, they're destroying our environment, our world, and they're defending the division that does it. Does it matter to struggle? Everything we've got is by struggling. The reason why women have got the vote is because they struggled. Look at the people they say are heroes. We love Nelson Mandela, except for when he was fighting before he was a terrorist and whatever he is, yeah? Till he won, right? They said they loved Martin Luther King until he won. Because a black woman sat down and said, I refuse to give up my seat. Everything we've got is through struggles. But the problem is the way our society is organised, you can struggle. At the end of the day, they can retreat, but the same people are at the top of our society. What we're talking about is how do you get permanent change? Because the revolution in Egypt did happen. If you look at the tyrants, they all fell, didn't they? Remember Mubarak? He was there forever. Next thing you see him lying on a hospital bed. Oh, I'm so ill. Who made him ill? The revolution made him ill, right? That's what made him ill. I'm out of power, what am I going to do? Before I was around. Now suddenly he was like, I was all powerful Mubarak. You used to see him with statues everywhere. Next thing the guy is saying, I'm really ill, please let me off, right? What made him ill? They took over Tahrir Square and refused to move. Suddenly the most powerful person. And in fact, did you remember the Americans, all the people who believe in humanity and democracy? What do you think about the revolution? Well, let's not talk about it. There's upsurge, we need order. And when they bring back order, who do they bring back? Sisi. Shooting people in the head. Do they say anything about it then? Nothing. So therefore, the question is, when you get rid of a tyrant, how do you get rid of them permanently? And that's where the question of democracy from below matters. It's not what matters from the people above. It's true, by the way, elections do matter. That's the reason why workers have fought for it. I am for kicking out the Tories, and I am for a left alternative. Right now, I'll give anything for somebody simply to tell the honest truth. You're a liar, Farage, you're a racist. Not let's give a banker a penny, let's take every penny off them, right? Stop blaming Muslims for the world that it's created. It was created by Tony Blair and George Bush, and by the way, by you trying to defend all whatever. I'd like someone just to say it, right? I'd like somebody to be able to say it. In fact, I remember George Galloway saying it, and they said he's mad, he's dangerous, whatever it is. As soon as he agreed with the yes vote, listen to this, anybody mad, explain why we should be part of the union, yeah? Because he was saying what they want to say. When you say you're not, when you say he's mad, he does all these things. The reason we need people that say what we need to say, but from below, that gives us confidence. The truth is, the only way you change things, my grandfather told me this, he said the door that squeaks the most gets the most oil. The meek will inherit the earth. You meek get nothing, yeah? The meek get nothing at all. They get nothing. The only people they remember are the people that struggle against them and win. But I'll tell you one thing that's important. I learned this from when I went to America. Every time somebody's come up, Martin Luther King spoke, and they said, it's all right, you speak for rights, you can have your vote. Here's your vote. As soon as he started saying people should get more money and power, he's shot dead. He's dead, gone. Right? As soon as Malcolm X starts saying we should separate, and he says we should come together, we should go for revolution, suddenly the man's dead. Right? He's gone. You know, anybody speaks up, they're gone. Now this leads me to one thing. The question is matter of power. Right? There's a famous story about when they attacked in Detroit. They attacked the car plant. They attacked them in the same way. When they attacked the car plants, the workers said, if you try and break into the car plants, we'll burn down the plant. Right? We won't let you do it. And the police said, we have to retreat. Why? Because the property mattered more. And also they had the collective thing about power. It matters about power. And where does power come from? Power doesn't just come from the people above, it comes from the way that we organise. And I believe everybody that struggles is not the same until after their struggle. I saw a programme about Pride. It's about people, miners, striking, and they put gay LGBT workers at the front. The miners that went before, I don't believe the miners before said, if you said you were going to be marching with a gay LGBT band 5 years before, they'd have looked at you and said, mate, take another pint, whether you're taking drugs, there's something wrong with you, right? What happens is when people go into struggle, they change. I don't believe that, you know, did you see the South, I don't know if people know this, but workers still win. You know in platinum, there's been a platinum mining strike in South Africa. They shot down 31 of them. And I remember some guy who looked like he's straight out of apartheid. The black workers will not win, they are breaking the law. That's why I killed them. 2 months later, we have to make a deal. Why do they have to make a deal? We're losing millions, yeah? Because the question of power came to it. If those workers can stop things, people at the top of society do not do a stroke of work. The people that do the work are us together. And actually, I think it's an international struggle from people all over the world. One of the things, I'll end up with that, I'll start to talk about the time, the question of leadership, right? It matters what people do on the ground. Why have they called off the strike? I mean, they called off the strike, they said, because we were offered nothing. If you offered nothing, you've got to fight for something. Right? Here, we've been offered nothing. The leaders are leaders, right? If you turn around to them and said, they've given themselves a 10% pay rise, haven't they, in Parliament, right? Imagine we turned around to them, you're taking a 2% cut. They'd be up in arms. One of the Tory ministers said, I can't live on £80,000. That's my dream. I can't possibly live on it, right? That's because they do not live like us. We have to have our own representation. I'm for a vote against the Tories. I am for a left alternative. But if we live in a society where my son, I got a free education, I got a free grant. I've told you, you're so poor because you're from East London, we're going to give you more money to go to university. He gets a £36,000 debt. And then they say you've got to pay more. The next generation will pay more. But we're producing 5 times the amount of wealth. So where's that wealth going? My argument is if you want to change society, let's do it together, but let's be organised. We can't depend only on the Labour Party. And we also have to work at work with those people that feel sometimes browbeaten. Let's be in an organisation of fighters and leaders. We don't have Eton and we don't have universities, but we do have the Socialist Workers' Party, and we do have a history, and we do have an organisation. And we have to have some sense about how we win and change our society. So please join us, because I believe this shit has got to stop, right? And that's the reason why you should join us.